Wonderful. Thank you all so much for joining me for a 60-minute yin yoga class. If we haven't met, my name is Holly. And today, as you might know, is Mardi Gras, which is a fun celebration of the body and being silly and moving around, right? We associate Mardi Gras with like parades and festivals and king cake and, really fun bodily things in preparation for a Christian holiday called Lent, which is often about kind of stepping back, going inward, being more austere. And so in preparation for that, right, we have this holiday where everybody like goes crazy and has a lot of fun. This year, hopefully Mardi Gras looks different for a lot of people, whether you're in New Orleans or elsewhere in the world. So I just thought that we would do a yoga class that really celebrates our body, which is the part of Mardi Gras that I really like. The part of that cycle that I don't particularly enjoy with Mardi Gras and Lent is this idea of like binging and purging. So you go from like doing everything to doing nothing. I believe as a spiritual practice, whether your spiritual practice is an organized religion like Christianity or Judaism or Hinduism, or if it's more like, something that you do for yourself, like journaling or meditation or yoga, there's this middle path, right, where we're not like binging and purging, going from eating king cake and being crazy on the streets of New Orleans to all of a sudden like starving ourselves and being sad all the time. So on the one hand, we're going to play around with celebrating the body today, and on the other hand, I just want to acknowledge that I hope that you enjoy your own company enough that you don't need to go through that, celebration and then sad and then celebration and then sad back and forth, right? So you're going to find yourself in a comfortable seated position, whatever that is for you. And in honor of New Orleans, AKA the Big Easy, we're going to do some big, easy breaths to begin our practice. So you're welcome to close your eyes. If closing your eyes is distracting, maybe do a soft fuzzy gaze just beyond the tip of your nose. Sit up nice and tall. And just notice what parts of your body are touching the ground. Excuse me. Notice what parts of your body are touching. I'm sneezing a little bit. Notice what parts of your body are touching fabric, your clothing. Maybe what parts of your skin are touching the air around you. Just allow yourself to feel really held by the ground beneath you, the clothing on your back, the air that's circulating around you. And we'll just take a few big, easy, slow breaths. So inhale slowly through your nose, take a big expansive breath, opening the rib cage. And then an easy, slow exhale through your mouth, just letting the chest and shoulders fall. Another big inhale through the nose, think about expanding your torso, your chest, feel your back stretch. Slow, easy exhale through the mouth. Just starting to let go of the day. Let's do two more. Big inhale through the nose. Easy exhale through the mouth. Last one, inhale, feel your chest rise, ribs expand, belly lift. Exhale, let your shoulders fall, chest soften, ribs contract. So as you did that breathing exercise, we started to slowly make our way onto our yoga mat, into our yoga practice. Notice if there were any lingering impressions from the day. Maybe, your thoughts turned towards something that happened earlier today or a task that you have to do after class or something like that. Just noticing those things that right away stood out to you as you began your yoga practice. Just whatever those worries or cares that you have, just politely set them aside. They'll be there for you after class. But just for now, allow your your body, your breath, your yoga practice to be big and easy, right? The body is limitless, the mind is limitless. So through this class, we're just going to be easy with ourselves, easy with our breath, and maybe like big and hopeful and intentional with how we move in time and space. Great. Okay, meet me on your back for our first posture of the day, banana pose, Bananasana. So you're gonna lie on your back, take your time. And before we practice the posture, just take a moment to picture your favorite banana. It can be Chiquita, Dole, Trader Joe's, Fair Trade, Organic. It can be super ripe and brown, or it can be green or just perfectly yellow. Just picture that shape that a banana makes. Great. From here, you're going to bring your feet together, arms overhead, and start to walk your hands and feet to the right side of the room so that from a bird's eye view, your body makes a banana shape. This is why it's called banana pose. You are welcome to cross your left foot on top of your right foot. You can cross one hand over the other, or you can keep your feet and or hands side by side. And we're going to hold here for 4 minutes. If you ever see me playing with my phone during this class, I am not like texting people, I am timing our postures. Okay. So the style of yoga that we're practicing today is called yin yoga. And if you're not familiar with yin yoga, it's a relatively new style of yoga that is really done in reaction to what we would call yang styles of yoga. So yin and yang, right? Yang styles of yoga are like 26 and 2 yoga that a lot of you practice with me. Vinyasa, power yoga, hot yoga, right? Stuff where we're moving our bodies pretty quickly in time and space. And these more yang energy classes, we are often contracting muscles to get into postures, right? We're like balancing on one leg or moving up and down and right and left pretty quickly. So we're engaging muscles to work into postures. Yin yoga kind of comes as a reaction to that there's real value and benefit in just being still in yoga postures for long periods of time. So in 26 and 2 yoga, we hold postures for like 30 seconds, maybe a minute, right? In this style of yoga, we hold postures for a minimum of 3 minutes. And what happens when we do that is that we don't just work into muscle tightness or stiff joints, we actually work into connective tissue. So your tendons, your ligaments, your fascia. And when we do faster paced, more energetic styles of yoga, it's really good for like strengthening the body. I love those styles of yoga. This style of yoga, yin yoga, is all about relaxing, about holding still, and breathing into the body. There's 3 tenets to yin yoga. It's pretty simple. You make a shape, you hold a shape, and you breathe. That's it, right? You make a shape with your body like a banana. You hold that banana shape, and you breathe through your nose. Now, if at a certain point, especially in long-held postures, you get a little uncomfortable, that's quite normal. It could be a physical discomfort, but it could also be a psychological, emotional, or spiritual discomfort, right? Just at finally having time to sit still with yourself can be kind of uncomfortable, right? It's okay to be uncomfortable, but if you're ever going to a point of pain or harm in a yin yoga posture, you are welcome to shift what you're doing. So right now we have 1.5 minutes left in this posture. I will try to give us kind of like halfway points into postures so that you know how long is left. If what you're doing, there's no way you can hold it for another 1.5 minutes, please feel free to ease up what you're doing or switch up in any way. Otherwise, you just hold still and breathe. Make a shape, hold a shape, breathe. About 30 seconds left. You can stay just as you are, or towards the end, if you'd like a deeper stretch, you can bring your hands and arms further to the right side of the room so you really feel a stretch to the left side body and compression to the right side body. Take a slow inhale through your nose. Slow exhale through your nose. If you have one foot or hand crossed over the other, uncross, and then slowly make your way back to center. You can bring your arms and legs down for puddle pose, savasana. Now, right away, if having your legs straight as you lie on your back is uncomfortable to your lower back, that's really normal. You are welcome to bend your legs so that your feet are on the floor and your knees rest together. And you can also place a small towel or blanket underneath your lower back if that gives you support. We will return to this neutral position in between every set of every posture. In more yang styles of yoga, we often call what we're doing here savasana or corpse pose, dead body pose. And if you've ever taken 26 and 2 yoga with me, you know that savasana is quite particular, right? I say heels together, toes fall open, arms down, palms face the ceiling, eyes open, mouth closed, savasana, right? In yin, we call it puddle pose. It's a little bit more freestyle. You can have your arms and legs open as much as you want. Just think about making like a puddle shape with your body. Let's do the other side of banana pose. Bring your feet together, arms over your head. This time, start to walk your hands and feet to the left side of the room, stretching the right side body and compressing the left side body. Try to keep your shoulders and hips on the floor. You're welcome to cross your right foot over your left foot, maybe one hand over the other. You can keep your head on the floor, or if it feels good, you can kind of let your head roll a little to the left so your left ear rests on the floor. Right away, you might notice that this side feels a little or a lot different, and that is very normal. We are not symmetrical, right? We're not butterflies. We're perfectly imperfect. Yoga gives us an opportunity to notice our incongruencies. Yoga gives us an opportunity to address our incongruencies. But yoga also gives us the opportunity to be at peace with the fact that like one knee might always be tighter than the other, right? I like to tell students, and sometimes yoga teachers will say like yoga will make you congruent. And if somebody says that, run, it's a lie. Your two eyeballs, or not your eyeballs, your two eyes, I should say, your eyelids, right? They'll never be the exact same shape, no matter how much fitness you do, right? We are naturally incongruent. So we're learning to work with that and really meet ourselves where we are in the moment. So you're never forcing your body. Notice where you might be holding tension. Do a little body scan here. And with every big, easy breath, just let your body relax a little bit more. I like to think of it as like foam rolling, but with my exhale breath. So every exhale, just getting a little softer, melt into the floor, and let the floor hold you up. We're about halfway through this 4-minute posture. If what you're doing is not sustainable, it does not feel right to your body, please ease up. If you don't feel anything at all, maybe bring your hands and feet a little bit closer to the left. Or if you're feeling like Goldilocks just right, just hang out exactly where you are. There's no one correct answer. Every day is a little different. Every body is a little different. With about 30 seconds left in the posture, you can stay just as you are, or if you'd like to go a little bit deeper at the end, now is your time. Take a slow inhale through your nose. Slow exhale through your nose. If your feet or hands are crossed, uncross, and then slowly come back to center, arms and legs down. So there's a little bit of perhaps irony in practicing yin yoga on Mardi Gras. I would say Mardi Gras is like pretty yang energy, right? It's energetic, it's in your face. People are like running around having fun, eating, drinking, playing, dancing, right? Singing. It's merriment. Versus yin yoga is very calm, soothing, easy. But again, I invite you, if you are someone who goes through cycles in your life of like deep merriment, and then by extension that other side, that swing of the shift of the pendulum, right, where then it goes from like pure joy to pure despair to pure joy to pure despair. Through yoga, through balancing our yin and yang energies, our perhaps our Mardi Gras and Lent energies, right, whatever that is, we can find a more calm, peaceful path. Right? When we're at peace, when we're calm, when we move our body, when we foster the mind-body connection, then maybe there's like a little bit less need for king cake and sazeracs, and then also a little less need for like a 40-day fast, right? We're finding that middle path. Okay, as you're ready, you're gonna bend your legs so that your feet are on the floor. If they're not already, knees rest together. And then take your time, roll off to one side, and then slowly roll onto your abdomen for Sphinx pose with a frog leg variation, which sounds so fun. I will show you from the side. So you're gonna start in Sphinx pose with your elbows bent, forearms on the floor. Eventually elbows under the shoulders. This is a back bending posture, a chest opening posture. Having the elbows under the shoulders can be a little intense for the back and shoulders. You're welcome to have your arms further forward. You're also welcome to place like a blanket or a pillow under your chest if that feels good. From here, lift your chest and relax your shoulders. So the name of the game in Sphinx pose is to keep the shoulders away from the ears. Here's where it gets fun. Keep your left leg long behind you and start to bend your right leg out to the side so that eventually your knee is in line with your hip and your knee is in line with your ankle. So from a bird's eye view, your right leg makes a 90-degree angle. You might not be able to bring the knee all the way up in line with the hip yet, and that's okay if it has to come back a little bit. Do try to keep your right ankle in line with your left knee. You are welcome to place a blanket or pillow under your foot if you find your foot's way off the floor, under your hip if the hip is way off the floor, whatever that is for you. So this is a nice way to get a back bend, a chest opener, and a hip opener all at once. We're going to hold here for 2 more minutes, already a minute into it. I like to hold Sphinx pose for like 3 minutes rather than 5 minutes. Some yin poses we do for 5 minutes just because it can be a lot on the shoulders, right? Try to keep the shoulders back away from the ears. This is a compression to the lower spine, an extension through the chest. The back bending is really good for the back, especially if you tend to hunch forward during the day over work, over food, over kids, over our phones, right? That's the biggest one. Back bending is really good for relieving pain from the spine, but just keep in mind shoulders away from the ears. About relaxing your hips down as you breathe through your nose. A little bit more than a minute left. With about 30 seconds left, this is that time if you really want to lift the chest for a deeper back bend or try to get your knee in line with your hip, you're welcome to do so. Or you can stay just as you are, knowing that the end is near. Take a slow inhale through your nose. And a slow, easy exhale through the nose. Just releasing any lingering tension and really giving into the posture, melting into the posture, into your breath. Okay, as you're ready, take your time, slowly straighten that right leg back, and then slowly lower down. A couple options for belly savasana, belly puddle pose. You can bend your elbows out to the side. You can have your forehead on the floor or look to one side. So I'm gonna look to my right with left ear on the mat. You can keep your elbows bent or bring them down by your side. Looking left and right is a really wonderful way to gently twist and stretch the neck and shoulders. Lying on the abdomen is a nice little massage for the internal organs. Send deep belly breaths in and out through your nose to massage the front of your body. Breathe deep into any point of tension. Let the floor hold you up. If you're looking to your right, gently lift your head. Just moving directions here. Gently lift your head and look to your left, right ear on your mat. And again, you might find that this side, looking to the other side, feels a little or a lot different. Okay, as you're ready, lift your head, look forward, put your hands on the floor, and push yourself up. Another fun thing about yin is that, we don't always go from the right side of the posture to the left side. We'll do other postures in between, which I think is a delight. So this next posture, we're going to work on our lower body, like toe, ankle, knee, hip mobility. You're going to start with knees, feet together, hips on your heels. This is Vajrasana, firm pose. And from here, you can go into a yin pose, what we call hero pose. So you're gonna open your knees, open your feet, and slowly sink your hips down. So one day you can sit between your heels. This does not have to happen today or tomorrow. You are welcome to roll up blankets or towels underneath your butt or under your toes or ankles if there's tightness there. Another cool thing about practicing from home, putting big books, like sturdy books under your butt can also work as well. So again, you can have any sort of blanket or rolled up mat under tight toe, ankle, knee, or hip joints, and you're welcome to put some sort of prop bolster underneath your seat so that you don't have to sit down all the way. This is an internal rotation to the hips, knees, and ankles. And from here, I'm going to give you a couple different upper body options. If you're really having trouble sitting back, use that to your advantage. Get a wrist stretch. You can put your hands on the floor, folding forward, either with your palms facing up, fingers pointing towards you, or you can flip your palms to the floor, fingers pointing towards you, wrists pointing away from you. So either way, again, if you're leaning forward, you're using it to your advantage, right? Getting this nice wrist elbow stretch here. If leaning back is comfortable for you, you're welcome to make it a back bend, either with a prop underneath you or not. You can go back into some sort of back bend that feels good for you. Try to keep your knees on the floor. So this is where we get into 26 and 2 yoga. We call this fixed firm Supta Vajrasana. Have your arms down by your side, out to the side, or grab your elbows, each other over your head. We're going to hold here for 4 minutes. We are already almost halfway through. So another thing that I love about yin is that it, I think, has like prettier names for postures than a lot of yang styles of yoga. So again, in 26 and 2 yoga, we call this fixed firm, Supta Vajrasana, but in yin, we would call this reclined hero. This is hero pose, which I think is lovely. And it's a great stretch through the toes, ankles, knees, thighs, and hips. If you're going back, it can be a nice chest, armpit, shoulder opener. If you're leaning forward, right, you're using that to stretch out the wrists, the elbows. Either way, notice where you're still carrying tension in your body. See if you can just let it go through the exhale breath. Rather than forcing your way into the posture, contracting muscles to hold the posture, you're relaxing into the posture, releasing muscles to hold the posture. In 26 and 2 yoga, we hold this posture for like 30 seconds, maybe a minute. Here we're holding it much longer. So it's not just working through like thigh muscles, knee joints. Again, it's really working into tendons, ligaments, the fascia that covers your whole body. Got about 30 seconds left. You can stay just as you are, or maybe go deeper into the posture, stretching the wrists more, or lifting your chest more. Try to keep your knees on the floor. Take a slow inhale through your nose. Slow exhale through your nose. And let's be really slow and intentional about how we come out of this posture. So if you're all the way back, you can put your hands on your feet or on the floor behind you and push yourself up. If you have a prop underneath you in any way, take your time slowly removing that. Whew, slowly push yourself up, turn around, huddle pose. You are welcome to lie on your back, your side, or on your abdomen, healer's choice. I'm gonna lie on my back. As you release out of the posture, right, you release a tourniquet effect on the lower body. You might start to feel a rush of blood through the toes, the ankles, the knees, or the hips. Or you might not. A lot of this yoga is just giving yourself an opportunity to listen to what your body is telling you. So sometimes we get a whole lot of information from our body when we're in a posture or when we release out of it. Sometimes we're like, meh, that was okay. And that's normal too, right? It's just giving yourself that opportunity to discern what is true and real for you, which might be very different from what is true or real for me. As you're ready, bend your legs, feet on the floor, knees rest together. Roll off to one side, maybe the side you haven't rolled onto. If you're on your abdomen, just stay where you are. Everybody together, turn, lie on your stomach, and we will do the other side of that Sphinx pose variation. So as you make your way to your stomach, again, have your forearms on the floor. Notice if your hands want to come in or out or the wrists are bending. Try to keep your wrists, elbows, and shoulders in line. And you're going to push the floor away from you to open your chest. You can always walk your hands further away from you to decrease that back bend. From here, start to bend your left leg out to the side. So eventually knee in line with your hip, ankle in line with your knee. From a bird's eye view, left leg makes a 90-degree angle, an L. We're going to hold here for 3 minutes, just as we did on the other side. Focus on keeping the shoulders away from the ears. So there is a little bit of activation in this posture, right? If I'm totally limp, my shoulders tense way up. So you do want to push the floor away from you with the forearms, right? The rest of your body, see where you can release tension, maybe from the feet, the knees, the hips or pelvic floor. Soften through your abdomen and chest. And it's a healing compression to the spine, and it's an opening to the hip joint. have about 1.5 minutes left, so we're halfway through. What you're doing is not working. Remember that you can get a prop, you can put a pillow under your hip, your knee, your ankle, your chest. You can bring the arms forward more or the knee back more. Again, the goal is just to open through the front of the body, compress the spine, open through the hip joint. That's all. Too much is too much. Too little is too little. And your maximum point in a posture that you're holding for 30 seconds is very different from your maximum point when you're holding a posture for 3 minutes. So just remember that as well. If you, like me, are a go-getter, like always trying to like go, 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 push, 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 yin really challenges us on that, right? And it says less is more, less is more. About 30 seconds left. This is the point you can stay just as you are. If you'd like to get a deeper back bend or more of a hip opener, now is your time. Take a slow inhale through your nose. Easy exhale through your nose. Slowly start to bring that left leg back to the back of your mat, to the back of your wall, and then slowly lower down. You can have your elbows out and your hands in, head down on the floor, or look to one side, maybe right, look to the right, left ear on your mat. You can keep your elbows bent or arms down by your side. Then just think about taking a puddle with your body. Let the floor hold you up. If you're looking to the right, gently lift your head and look to the left, other ear on your mat. With every inhale, think about expanding the backs of your ribs. With every exhale, just releasing any tension from the body, any worries or cares. Bring your chin forward, look forward, hands to the floor, and press yourself back up. Take your time coming into a seated position. Yin yoga is largely floor-based. There is, however, one forward fold posture that is a standing posture. It is called dangling pose, which is not very creative, but it makes sense. We're going to dangle our body. I will show you dangling pose, and then I will show you an alternative for those of you for whom dangling pose does not feel right to the back. So as you're ready, you're going to take your time slowly coming to a standing position. Especially if you have low blood pressure, please take your time as you stand up. We've been on the floor for a while. Okay, sorry you can't see all of me right now, but it won't matter in 1 second. Stand with your feet anywhere from 2 to 3 feet apart. So a generous step between your feet. Can bend your knees, and then you're gonna fold forward. You're gonna dangle forward. Relax your head. You are welcome to put your hands on the floor, or I like to catch opposite elbow and opposite hand. Pull your stomach in slightly, and because of gravity, you'll feel this like vacuum sensation, and you'll feel your stomach pull up and in. Relax your head, and we're gonna hold here for 4 minutes. This posture is a really good hamstring stretch. It's a spine stretch. It can also be intense on the back, especially if you have a history of slit discs. If this posture, folding forward like this, feels like it is tugging or pulling on your back and not in a good way, put your hands on the floor, take your time, bend your knees, and come down into a seated position. We're going to do a seated forward fold instead. You will get all of the benefits without using gravity. So for the forward fold, you're going to have your knees and feet relatively close together. Knees can bend a little bit if you want. Put your hands on the floor and slowly fold forward. showing this as an alternative. One is not better than the other, they're just different. Both will stretch the hamstrings and the back. For those of you with a recently herniated disc, you can keep a nice flat back here the whole time, so shoulders back, chest up. Otherwise, if you'd like, you can play around with folding forward, and you are always welcome to place pillows or blankets between your thighs and your chest so there's more support there. Again, if the rounding spine, even in a seated position, does not feel good for your back, put your hands on the floor, lift your chest, stick your butt out a little bit so your spine is straight. Otherwise, you can just let your head relax down. Have about 2 minutes left in the posture. So this is a little bit of a massage for the abdominal wall, and it's a great stretch for the hamstrings and the back. It's a release for the gallbladder and liver meridians in Chinese medicine, and it is a stimulation to the bladder meridian as well. Relax your head, let gravity do the work. One of my favorite memories in this posture was a yoga in the park with Jenny Bragg, and we did this posture, and I'm looking behind me. Jamie, you might have been here for this. I'm looking behind me, and this squirrel is just looking me dead in the eyes, like he's about to like run and jump and bite me in the butt while I'm doing this dangling posture. And the squirrel and I just locked eyes and had a standoff for for like a full 2 minutes in the posture. So I still think about that whenever I practice dangling pose. We've got about 45 seconds left. As we near the end, if you would like more of a hamstring stretch, if you're standing, you can lift your hips up to straighten the legs and bring more weight into the ball of your feet. If you're seated, you can flex your toes back a little bit and press your heels forward, straightening the legs more. And then just see where you can relax the body. You're in dangling pose. We've had a big rush of blood to the brain. So just keep that in mind that there's a lot of circulation, a lot of blood going to your head right now. It's like giving yourself a mini facial without having to go to a spa. But it can also be a little bit intense when we come out of the posture. So if you are in dangling pose on your feet, put your hands on the floor in front of you, bring your weight into your hands, and then bend your knees and slowly sit down. Take your time as you bring your head up. So the blood that was rushing from your heart to your head is now rushing back from your head down. And then take your time, turn around, savasana. So you might feel quite an intense blood flow shift here as you return to your back, especially if you have high or low blood pressure. Just keep that in mind. Puddle pose, arms down, and legs can be straight or bent. And then you're just going to use this hard, flat floor as a prop. Part of your yoga practice, right? We wouldn't necessarily want to sleep on a hard floor on our yoga mat all night, but it's really useful with yoga. Just picture everything stretching out and realigning. Let the floor hold you up. Next, we'll do a spine twist. Bring your arms out to the side. You can also bend your arms up, cactus like goalposts. Bend your legs so that your feet are on the floor, knees resting together if they're not there already. From here, start to roll off to your right.
so that your left hip stacks on top of right hip, left knee on top of right knee, left foot on top of right foot. Try to keep your left shoulder on the floor. This is a spine twist, and we're going to hold here for 4 minutes. I will give us some different variations as we go. So you're welcome to stay here in the twist with both legs bent, head on the floor. If you'd like, you can straighten your right leg to the back wall so that your right foot's towards the back of your mat. And if you'd like, you can kick your left foot out to the right for an IT band stretch. So if you kick that top foot out to the right, you will feel a stretch along the outer left thigh. Try to keep the left shoulder down. You can have your head on the floor or roll your head to the left, maybe left ear towards the floor. And then just give yourself some time to take big, easy breaths in and out through your nose. In moments of stillness, of silence, maybe even of solitude, notice not just where your mind goes, but also where your body goes. You start to fidget or clench. You start to disassociate, right? Does the mind start to wander from what the body is doing to something that happened earlier today? Just be curious about what's happening when we hold still and breathe. And then use this as practice. Just practice being okay with being by yourself, with breathing into your body, finding a little bit of stillness. Have about 2 minutes left. We have about 30 seconds left in the spine twist. This is an opportunity to maybe go a little deeper or to stay just as you are. Take a slow inhale through your nose. Slow exhale through your nose. Let's be intentional with how we come out of this posture. If you're looking to the left, roll your head back to center. If your top left leg is kicked out to the right, start by bending the top left leg. Bend your right leg. I like to actually put my hands on my knees, thighs, and then slowly Roll yourself back to center, puddle pose, arms and legs down. So especially for those of you that like sit at computers all day, right? Sit at desks all day. You might have figured out by now that like it feels good to stand up every once in a while and like put your hands on your back and do a little back bend, right? Which makes sense, right? If you're hunching forward over work all the time, it makes sense for relieving pressure from the back by doing back bends. But spine twists are also a really big part of back health. So especially for those of you that sit still or lie still for a lot of the day, make sure that you're not just doing back bends, you're also doing spine twists. Let's do the other side. You have your arms out to the side or bent like cactus, full post. Bend your legs up, feet on the floor, knees rest together. And this time roll to your left. So right hip stacks on top of left hip, right knee on top of left knee, right foot on top of left foot. Try to keep your right shoulder on the floor. Option to stay here or a couple of leg variations. You can straighten that that bottom left leg to the back wall. And you can also kick your right foot out to the right for an IT band stretch. You are welcome, I should have said this on the other side, I apologize. You are welcome to put a blanket or towel underneath your knee or your foot or your shoulder. You can keep your head on the floor or look to the right shoulder on the floor. And again, this side might feel a little or a lot different. That's normal. So when we do these spine twists, they're good for back health. They're also a nice shoulder, chest opener, and they're also good for the abdomen and digestion. If you ever have an upset stomach, spine twisting is a really nice way to like relieve gas bubbles from the stomach. You don't have to hold it for 4 minutes like we're doing here, but just twisting the spine, especially in a supine lying on your back position, and is good for digestion, good for back health. And if you are kicking that top right leg out to the left side of the room, it's also again a nice stretch for the outer thigh. And you might feel that hip joint working as well. We're about halfway through. We have 2 minutes left. And if what you're doing does not feel right, please switch it up. Also, always put a pillow like under your head or your neck if it's just hurting your head to have it on the floor. We have, pillows and towels here for a reason, so don't be shy about using them. About 30 seconds left. You can stay just as you are or move a little bit deeper into the posture if that feels good for you. Take a slow inhale through your nose. A Slow exhale through your nose. Let's be slow and intentional about how we come out of the posture. If you're looking to the right, gently roll your head back to center. If you've kicked your right leg out to the left, start by slowly bending that right top leg. Then bend that left bottom leg, so legs stack on top of each other again. Then if you'd like, put your hands on your knees, thighs. With the help of your arms, slowly roll your right hip down. Arms and legs down, puddle pose. Our last yoga posture today is as much a symbolic gesture as it is a literal, physical one. And it's all about taking up space. So one of the things that's fun about Mardi Gras, right, is like we take up space, we take to the streets, we play with each other, we're playful. Maybe you wear a fun costume or masks or beads, or in New Orleans, like we live there, maybe you're in, a crew and there's, all sorts of festivals around it and traditions around it. And for many of us, especially marginalized folks, you might not always have the opportunity to take up space. Sometimes it doesn't feel safe, and sometimes, frankly, it's not safe, right? So we have holidays, festivals where we can literally put a mask on and be whoever the heck we want to be at that moment. So this last posture, you're just going to take up as much space as you possibly can. Bring your legs wide, arms wide. You are welcome to put a blanket under your head, under your lower back. You can put a blanket over you if you want. Just get comfortable, but also be really expansive. So arms and legs out. I like to call it like starfishing, right? You're just going to feel this huge stretch across your chest, through your arms and legs. Picture from a bird's eye view, like 5 points in a seated, supine lying on your back position. So as you lay here, you can close your eyes, but without looking around, just feel where your hands are, where your feet are. Maybe feeling that vertical line from the crown of your head all the way down to your root, right? The spine, one long line. Feeling horizontal lines, maybe from hand to hand, across the chest, opening the heart meridian. Just making a fun, big, expansive shape with your body. And there's no need to apologize. Again, Mardi Gras is really fun, but then in the Christian tradition, the holiday that comes after it, Lent, this 40-day kind of like period of austerity, I think is, I don't always love how historically over time that's been used as a like fasting or taking something away from yourself or being kind of somber. I think it can be a really powerful holiday. But I want to be explicit that you do not have to apologize for having a body ever. You don't have to apologize for taking up space ever. And through this yoga posture where we're just opening our arms and legs, we are consciously not apologizing for being in flesh, embodied, creatures, right? We have real skin, real bones, real muscles, joints, tendons, ligaments, fascia, and there's nothing to feel ashamed of. There's nothing to, apologize for. You're just giving yourself permission to take up space. Holding here for one more minute. You are welcome to use this time as a symbolic gesture, anything that you are tired of apologizing for or feeling bad about or feeling like awkward or you're taking up space. Just use this moment here with your arms and legs wide to let go of whatever that is in your life and to truly accept who you are, what your body represents. Just allowing yourself to love yourself and to take up space. Take a big inhale and an easy exhale. As you inhale, feel your body expand. As you exhale, feel your body contract. And this is the truth of the matter, right? We are naturally in flex. Like with every inhale, body rises. With every exhale, body falls. But it doesn't have to be such a pendulum swing that it alters our whole life, right? We're noticing the natural fluctuation of inhale and exhale, rise and fall, expansion and contraction. And we're doing it in a way that feels good, that feels balanced, that feels true to who we are on the inside. You can stay in this like super big position for as long as you'd like, or if you'd like to bring your arms and legs down into, a slightly smaller puddle pose shape, you can do that. You can stay in this final puddle pose, final savasana for as long as you'd like. And you can get cozy with, pillow under your head or a blanket over you. You can take a nap here if you'd like. Whenever you are ready to shift gears, make sure that you're getting up slowly, intentionally. Drink water throughout the rest of your evening, and never be afraid to take up space.